What's up, guys? It's Benny. Fate loves irony, and irony is often hysterical. And one of the most hysterical things that's happened in the first 9 months of the Trump administration is that everything that the deep state accused Donald Trump of doing, they're guilty of. So Letitia James accuses Donald Trump of mortgage fraud and inflating the values of his property. She's guilty of that. She's been indicted for that. James Comey accused President Trump's closest advisors of lying under oath and went after Donald Trump for his speech. And, well, now James Comey is indicted for lying under oath and for misleading a congressional proceeding. And, ladies and gentlemen, I think that there's going to be some bad things that happen to Barack Obama and some of the elitist deep state, super state that tried to hoax out Donald Trump. But here today on the breaking news is John Bolton being indicted. For what exactly? Well, let's listen to what John Bolton had to say about mishandling classified information back when he thought it was Donald Trump doing it.
Prove it, then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself, because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't throw everything up against the wall to see what would stick. This really is a rifle shot, and I think it should be the end of Donald Trump's political career.
Oh, the end of Donald Trump's political career for a very serious crime of mishandling classified information. Record scratch. Ex-Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton indicted for mishandling classified information. Yikes, you're probably wondering how I got here. A federal grand jury has indicted Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton on 18 counts of illegally hoarding or sending sensitive national security information, leaving the longtime pillar of the Republican foreign policy establishment facing decades in prison. The indictment in Greenbelt, Maryland, of all places, alleges that Bolton sent sensitive national security documents through a personal AOL email account. So his personal email account, classic, time is a flat circle, to outside contacts while serving in the first Trump administration. Bolton served as Trump's national security advisor in April 2018 until his firing in 2019. Upon leaving office, he pledged to not have any classified information in his notes or possession. However, those communications, which stayed on his AOL account, were exposed by bad actors, and foreign entity hacked Bolton's email, according to a probable cause warrant. Goodness gracious, Bolton faces up to 10 years in prison for each count, so he's facing 180 years in prison? Jeez. However, these communications are absolutely and totally criminal. You can see them here in the indictment. It is an airtight indictment. Federal agents searched Bolton's Maryland home in Washington, D.C. on August 22nd in a connection with a long-running investigation. During those searches, the FBI investigators retrieved documents related to weapons of mass destruction, U.S. missions to the United Nations, strategic government communications, secret travel memos, according to the court records. Even if Bolton had no intention of releasing that information, he could be held liable for the sensitive documents that were left lying around where others could get it. Anybody could just, I don't know, break into his house. So, yeah, he's in a bad shape, dude. This is not good with John Bolton. Disgraced former national security advisor. Lock him up. Accountability and indictments are rolling in. John Bolton was indicted, and President Trump was asked about it, and here's what he had to say.
Just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You told me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but that's the way it goes.
The case against him?
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person. Okay, anybody else?
President Trump pulled the whole Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You're telling me for the first time now. CNN holding back tears as they have to report on this. Look at the face of the anchor. Your friend John Bolton is indicted. Here's John Bolton with his mustache fleeing the police right now. And the AI is just very, very good. Yes, has been indicted. Does this mean the end of John Bolton's career? I mean, according to the CNN clip that we played, that would be pretty logical, right? John Bolton saying that mishandling of classified information is the end of Donald Trump's career. The difference, of course, is pretty remarkable. Here's the difference, that Donald Trump had a right as president or former president to handle classified information because he keeps his clearance forever. Goodness. Indicted, 18 counts. Wow. 18 counts. Classified material, reportedly seized. Tons of seized documents. 18 counts is a lot. And I just don't know how you get out of this one, John. Undone by his own words. They also raided John Bolton's office, and they were able to come up with 18 counts. At the time, Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had this to say: public corruption will not be tolerated. No one is above the law. FBI agents are on a mission. Well, I'm sure you can understand. And of course, he doesn't have a security detail or a security clearance. So you're not allowed to have this information. Unlike President Trump, I know I sound like a broken record here, unlike President Trump, who did have the right to have this information because he was president. He is president or was president. Either way, Trump has his own presidential clearance, the highest possible clearance as a former president, because you get a presidential security brief. Even if you're not in office, you are entitled to a brief. So anyway, this is not going to be good for John Bolton. I guess we'll see what happens next. But ladies and gentlemen, John Bolton has never missed a TV appearance to criticize Donald Trump over classified documents. I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of the information. He liked cool things. He liked them, and he wanted to be able to leak them. And he said this: some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Weird thing to say. Ladies and gentlemen, here's two of our favorite experts wrapping up on Fox News. What happens next? John Bolton.
John Bolton indicted by a federal grand jury in Maryland. Let's talk about that with Fox News legal analyst now, Greg Jarrett. Greg, let me just get your initial reaction to a grand jury indicting John Bolton.
Well, Will, when Bolton's home and office were raided by the FBI, I mean, that was a pretty good, obvious sign that they already had probable cause to believe that he was keeping classified material in prohibited places. That, of course, is a violation of the Espionage Act. And so an indictment seemed inevitable from that moment in time. The focus has been really threefold: physical documents with classified markings in his possession. Then there's, second of all, private notes on his AOL account that allegedly contain classified information. And finally, published material from his book that was not pre-approved, says the government, by the intelligence community, which the law requires. I think, Will, that the AOL account is truly problematic because it was hacked by a foreign adversary, according to an intel assessment that's actually contained in the warrant affidavit. So if that's true, that only supports the case against him, because that's precisely what the Espionage Act was designed to protect. And, you know, as for Abbe Lowell, he's a very fine attorney, but it doesn't matter how old these documents are. If they're still classified, it is criminal to have them in your possession. And furthermore, legally, it doesn't matter whether it was willful or sloppy, because under the Espionage Act, it's both. It's a crime if it's either intentional or negligent. I mean, you would think that after the notorious Hillary Clinton case, the guilty plea by General David Petraeus, both of whom mishandled classified documents quite clearly, that others like Bolton, who are in government, wouldn't do it. They'd be extra careful. But, you know, John Bolton has always tried to leverage his positions in government by profiting financially from books. And, you know, keeping classified documents may have been his motivation, as it was for Joe Biden, who unlawfully stored classified documents in his home and garage. And he admitted it was for the purpose of writing a book.
And that is that the judge assigned to this case is a 2014 Obama bench appointee by the name of Judge Thomas Chuang. Now, we are waiting, Bolton, who might make his first court appearance. Brett, you heard Greg talk about this, and in the report from David Spunt, that John Bolton's attorney talks about how old these documents are. He alleges that they were pre-cleared for writing his book, and they date back to the 90s into 2006. But is it your understanding, as it is Greg's, there's no statute of limitations on this? He continued to possess classified documents.
Yeah, Will, I'll tell you, I've worked on these cases both on the prosecution side and on the defense side, and I'll tell you they are very difficult cases to defend against, because it is in essence a simple analysis. Is the document classified? Is it in your possession? Did you purposefully possess the document in question? And then you reach other analyses. You look at what was the purpose for the possession to determine whether or not additional charges may be brought. Remember, though, I'm very mindful of the fact that Bolton has a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight. There's may be an effort to also get his attention and get him talking about other things that he may have information about. This is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. I think it's a difficult case to defend against. He, of all people, should know. Doesn't matter if it's old or new materials. If it's classified and you possessed it, then it could be a crime.